Hi, I'm Meredith. I work as a graphic designer at one of the top agencies in Seattle, where I've built a pretty solid reputation over the last 5 years. My latest project just landed us a major client, which means a nice bonus is heading my way. Perfect timing, too, since my boyfriend Ryan just proposed last weekend. Babe, have you thought about venues yet? My mom keeps texting me about that garden place she found. Ryan walked into our apartment holding grocery bags and wearing that smile that still makes my heart skip. Let's enjoy being engaged for at least a week before your mom plans our entire wedding, okay? I laughed, closing my laptop where I'd been working on mood boards for a new client. What Ryan doesn't fully understand is why I'm hesitant about big family celebrations. When I was 10, my parents died in a car accident on their way home from a dinner date. My world shattered overnight, and I ended up living with my mother's sister, Aunt Clara. You're lucky we took you in, Meredith. Do you know how much it costs to raise someone else's child? This became her constant refrain throughout my teenage years. Every birthday gift, every school supply, every doctor's visit came with a reminder of my debt. Don't think I don't keep track of everything we spend on you, she'd say while buying me the cheapest clothes possible for school. Someday you'll need to pay it all back. I worked part-time jobs from age 16, handing over half my paychecks to Aunt Clara for room and board. I escaped as soon as I could, working 3 jobs to put myself through college, while she told everyone how ungrateful I was. Your Aunt Clara called again, Ryan said, interrupting my thoughts as he unpacked groceries. Maybe you should call her back. It's been months. She probably just wants to complain about me to me, I sighed, helping him put away the food. Last time she called, she asked if I'd gotten a raise yet. The doorbell rang unexpectedly. A delivery guy handed me a certified letter requiring my signature. My stomach dropped when I saw the return address. What is it? Ryan asked, noticing my expression. I tore open the envelope and pulled out a formal-looking document. My hands started shaking as I read. She's billing me. Aunt Clara is actually billing me for raising me. $60,000. There's a payment schedule and everything. I could barely breathe. She's itemized it. Food, clothing, school supplies. There's even a charge for emotional labor. Ryan took the papers from my trembling hands. This can't be legal. She was your guardian. Your parents died. She says if I don't agree to the payment plan within 30 days, she'll take me to court. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. That's insane. You were a child. The room seemed to spin around me. After everything she'd put me through, all the emotional manipulation, all the times she'd made me feel like a burden. And now this? I think I'm going to be sick, I whispered, sinking onto our couch. The next morning, I called my childhood friend Olivia, who rushed over to our apartment after hearing the panic in my voice. $60,000? Let me see this nonsense. Olivia snatched the papers from Ryan's hands and scanned them, her face growing redder by the second. This is beyond messed up, Meredith. Your parents would be turning in their graves. What am I supposed to do? I can't just ignore it. You know how Aunt Clara gets. Remember when she threw out your art supplies in high school because they made too much mess? Then made you work extra shifts at that grocery store to buy new ones? Olivia shook her head. I watched her do this kind of stuff to you for years. Wait, what? Ryan looked shocked. You never told me it was that bad. There's a lot I haven't told you. It was complicated. It wasn't complicated. It was abuse, Olivia stated flatly. And I'll testify to that if I have to. That afternoon, I dug through my small box of keepsakes from my parents' house. There wasn't much. Aunt Clara had sold most of their belongings to cover expenses. At the bottom of the box, I found a folder of documents I'd never fully examined. Holy crap. My hands trembled as I read through an insurance policy. Ryan! My parents had life insurance, a substantial policy. Where did the money go? Ryan asked, sitting beside me on our bedroom floor. Exactly what I'm wondering. My phone rang with an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer. Meredith, it's your Uncle Frank. Don't tell Clara I called. His voice was hushed. Listen, I found out what she's doing. I'm sorry. I told her this was crazy, but she won't listen. Uncle Frank? Why are you whispering? She's in the garden. Look, kid, there's something you should know. After your parents passed, there were monthly payments coming in for your care. Insurance money. Over $2,000 a month until you turned 18. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. But she made me pay her. She kept telling me how expensive it was to keep me. I know. I've felt guilty for years. She controlled all the finances. I've got copies of the bank statements. I'll send them to you, but please don't tell her it was me. After we hung up, my phone buzzed with texts from family members I rarely spoke to. Your cousin Tammy just texted asking if it's true that I'm suing you for failing to support her, Ryan said, showing me his phone. What is happening? My own phone lit up with a message from Aunt Clara. I've explained to everyone how ungrateful you've been. Pay what you owe or I'll see you in court. 2 days later, a process server showed up at my office, embarrassing me in front of colleagues with actual lawsuit papers. That's it. I slammed the papers down on our kitchen table that evening. I'm done being her victim. If Aunt Clara wants a fight, she's got one. Are you sure about this? Ryan looked concerned. Fighting her might get ugly. It's been ugly my whole life, but now I have evidence, and for once I'm not backing down. Olivia arrived with takeout and determination. I called my cousin who works at that law firm downtown. He says this case is so ridiculous it might actually be fun for them to defend. They'll meet with you tomorrow. I took a deep breath, feeling stronger with my support system around me. Tell him I'll be there. The law office of Goldstein and Associates was intimidating. All glass and chrome, but attorney Sarah Goldstein put me at ease immediately. So your aunt wants you to pay her for doing what guardians are legally obligated to do? Sarah raised an eyebrow as she reviewed the documents. And she received insurance payments the entire time? This might be the most outrageous case I've seen this year. So you'll help me? With pleasure. We need to gather everything: the insurance policy, proof of payments to your aunt, witness statements about her treatment of you, and evidence of this smear campaign she's running. I spent the next week collecting every scrap of evidence. Olivia wrote a detailed statement about the emotional abuse she'd witnessed. Ryan helped me organize financial records from my teen years showing payments to Aunt Clara. My phone rang at 11 p.m. 3 days later. I'm at the gas station on Maple. Can you meet me? Uncle Frank's voice was barely above a whisper. 20 minutes later, I was sitting in Ryan's car in a dimly lit parking lot as Uncle Frank handed me a thick envelope. Bank statements going back to when you first came to live with us? Life insurance payments, Social Security survivor benefits, almost $2,500 a month for 8 years. That's over $240,000, Meredith. She made me work part-time jobs to earn my keep while she was getting all this money? My hands shook as I flipped through the statements. There's more. She took out a college fund your parents had set up. Almost $30,000. Said it was for household expenses. Ryan gripped my hand. That's theft. I know. Uncle Frank looked down. I should have stopped her. I'm sorry, kid. The next day, Olivia called in a panic. Have you seen Aunt Clara's Facebook posts? She's telling everyone you're trying to avoid paying your debts and that you stole family heirlooms when you moved out? Sure enough, my phone was blowing up with messages from extended family and even old high school acquaintances. Perfect, Sarah said when I told her. She's building our case for harassment. That weekend was my cousin Tammy's baby shower. I almost didn't go, but Sarah suggested it might be useful to see who believed Aunt Clara's lies. The room went silent when I walked in. Aunt Clara stood by the punch bowl, holding court. Well, look who decided to show up after trying to weasel out of her responsibilities, she sneered. I paid my responsibilities for years, Aunt Clara. Even when I was legally a child and you were legally my guardian. Even when you were cashing those insurance checks every month. Gasps rippled through the room. What insurance checks? My cousin Tammy looked confused. The ones my parents left specifically for my care. Over $240,000 worth? You ungrateful little... Aunt Clara lunged toward me, knocking over the punch bowl. After everything I did for you. Like making me sleep in the unheated basement? Or losing my college acceptance letters? Or stealing the college fund my parents set up? Uncle Frank stepped forward. It's true, all of it. 2 weeks later, we were in court. I sat beside Sarah as Aunt Clara took the stand, dabbing at fake tears. I sacrificed everything for that child. We gave her a home when no one else would. And this is how she repays us? And how much were you paid for this sacrifice? Sarah asked when it was her turn. That's not relevant. Your Honor, I have evidence that Mrs. Clara Thompson received over $240,000 in insurance and Social Security benefits designated for the care of my client. The judge's eyebrows shot up. Is this true, Mrs. Thompson? That money barely covered expenses, Aunt Clara sniffed. Do you know how much teenagers eat? The courtroom tittered, and Judge Harmon frowned. Continue with your testimony, Mrs. Thompson. As Aunt Clara spun her tale of hardship and sacrifice, I noticed Judge Harmon reviewing the financial documents with increasing disbelief. This might actually work out in my favor. After Aunt Clara finished her performance, it was my turn to testify. I took a deep breath and walked to the stand. Meredith, please tell the court about your living conditions while under your aunt's care, Sarah said. I slept in an unfinished basement. I had to work part-time jobs from age 16, giving half my earnings to Aunt Clara for room and board. When I got scholarships for college, mysteriously, the acceptance letters disappeared. I had to apply again the following year and move out immediately. Lies! All lies! Aunt Clara shouted, jumping up from her seat. Mrs. Thompson, control yourself, Judge Harmon warned. Uncle Frank approached the stand next, avoiding Aunt Clara's glare. Frank, don't you dare! Aunt Clara hissed loudly enough for everyone to hear. Mr. Thompson, did your wife receive monthly payments for Meredith's care? Sarah asked. Yes, life insurance and Social Security, about $2,500 a month for 8 years. And what happened to the college fund? Clara told me she used it for household expenses. But we didn't have any unusual expenses during that time. Aunt Clara stood up again. You traitor! After all these years! Mrs. Thompson, one more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt, Judge Harmon barked. After a short recess, Judge Harmon returned, looking grim. I've reviewed all evidence presented, and I've also taken the liberty of requesting an investigation into the financial aspects of this case. My heart pounded as she continued. The investigation confirms that Mrs. Thompson received approximately $240,000 designated for Meredith's care, plus $30,000 from a college fund established by her parents. Yet, she's now suing her niece for $60,000 in alleged expenses. Judge Harmon adjusted her glasses. This case is not only dismissed, but I'm ordering Mrs. Thompson to repay the $30,000 college fund, plus an additional $20,000 for documented earnings Meredith was forced to surrender as a minor. The courtroom erupted. Aunt Clara leapt to her feet. This is outrageous! That ungrateful brat owes me! Officers, please escort Mrs. Thompson from my courtroom, Judge Harmon ordered as Aunt Clara continued screaming. You can't do this! I raised her. She owes me everything. As the officers approached, Aunt Clara knocked over her chair and tried to lunge toward me. They quickly restrained her as she continued her tirade. I'll appeal. This isn't over, Meredith. You'll regret this. After she was removed, family members approached me in the hallway. We had no idea, Meredith, Cousin Tammy said, hugging me awkwardly with her pregnant belly between us. All these years she told us you were the difficult one. She showed us doctored bank statements claiming she spent thousands on your care, my second cousin Jake added. We should have questioned it. 3 months later, Ryan and I were finalizing details for our spring wedding. Olivia, my maid of honor, arrived with cake samples. Heard from Uncle Frank lately? She asked, setting down the bakery boxes. He calls weekly. He's doing well in his new apartment. Said the divorce papers were finally signed. And the Wicked Witch? Apparently she's living with her sister in Ohio. Nobody in the family talks to her anymore, and she had to sell the house to pay me back. Justice served, Olivia said, handing me a champagne flute. To freedom. Ryan joined us, wrapping his arm around my waist. To new beginnings, and to finally being free of debt, real or imagined. I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in years. For the first time since my parents died, I'm not carrying this weight of owing someone just for existing. I'd almost forgotten what that felt like. Your parents would be proud, Ryan said softly. I think they would. I raised my glass. To standing your ground, and to finding family in the people who actually love you. What do you think? Is it ever acceptable for parents or guardians to expect children to pay them back financially for raising them? Or is providing for a child simply the responsibility you take on when you become a parent or guardian? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this revenge story of justice served, please hit that like button to help others find it too. Subscribe for more stories about standing up to toxic people and breaking free from manipulation. Thanks for watching.